Inspiration. What defines sport for you? For me, it is this one word: inspiration. Having covered sport for the last 25 years of my life and have lived sport for that same time, I can tell you, these athletes, men and women, are about superhuman achievements, breaking down barriers, trying to do things which we consider not doable, impossible, unimaginable, unreal, surreal. And all of it comes together in that one word: inspiration. And that is why I thought I will bring to you on India Today Television my brand new series with the best, called Inspiration. Who do I start the series with? Who should be my first guest? You call someone who embodies nationalism, wears it on his sleeve, is the embodiment of 21st century India, of dreams, of hopes, of aspirations, of desire. Someone who has moved from being a chubby boy to being a fitness champion, from an average batsman to a superhuman genius. Yes, you guessed it right. The champion, the captain, the skipper, the embodiment of hope of the Indian cricket team, Virat Kohli. Virat, firstly, welcome and thank you very much for doing this.
Pleasure.
You know, from the title of the show, you can understand inspiration. I mean, I don't need to say that you're a great batsman, you're a great player, etc. That's not the purpose of this show. But tell me where you are. I mean, how is it being Virat Kohli? I mean, million selfies every day, no social life. You and Anushka have to go to a remote village in Bhutan for a holiday, where even then we will call to wish you happy birthday and a million calls there. How is it being Virat Kohli?
It's to be honest, in the last 4 years or so, it's been quite a drastic change, because I remember, and we discussed this very often, when Anushka had come to Australia, we still were, regularly walking out of the hotel and just walking around, going to restaurants. Yes, people will come and approach you, but it wasn't in a way that, there was some kind of motive behind it, or, a motivation to get a picture and post it online. So we didn't feel that kind of, urge from people to get into our space. They would respect our space. They would get excited, obviously, seeing the two of us together. But I think from 2015 onwards, my career also grew and social media also was growing simultaneously. So what happened was, it became very drastic. I would say in the last 3 years, though, it's been surprising for me as well. You don't realize on a daily basis how confined your life starts becoming. That's why you want to be in your space more and more, because the moment you step out of that space, you probably have to interact with 100 people at a time. So it gets difficult, accepting and understanding that transition, because in my heart, I'm still, that guy who came from West Delhi and made his way up. So is Anushka. We're both very similar from where we came from. So it's very difficult for us to understand that transition all the time, and that's why we like being in our own space most of the time.
I don't think you've spoken about Anushka much, and this is something I actually want to touch upon today. I will come to your cricket. Firstly, how are you as a husband? When you are on holiday, what do you do? Can you give us an insight into what you and Anushka do in your leisure time?
Well, firstly, I would like to admit that I'm not the best when it comes to planning anything. She plans things way better, and she has a great understanding of the perfect holiday or places that would be great to visit, and she's absolutely spot on every time we are going somewhere and she plans it. On holiday, we are pretty chilled out. We are pretty relaxed. As you saw, we went to Bhutan, and these are the kind of things we like doing together. If Anushka says, "What do you think of going to this place?" I already like the idea so much that there is no discussion. Even it's like, shall we go here? Okay, let's go. So we love doing the same things, and that's the most amazing part. We absolutely enjoyed our holiday. We loved going for treks and just interacting with people there. It was such a beautiful experience because both of us, as I said, on a daily basis, you don't really get to know people. You don't really get to have conversations because very few people will want to sit down and talk to you. They would not go beneath the layer of people knowing who you are. So there we would, get on our bikes and go for these bike rides and treks, and in between we would meet some, local people. We'd stop at a shop. We just sit down, talk to them, and it was beautiful. It was like getting back to being human beings, before we became famous.
And that's something I need to ask. I mean, she is as famous as you are. I mean, she's got a super successful career in her own right. But for her to take time out and go with you for tours, take the World Cup, take the Australia tour, it must be hard. I mean, and at the same time, from your standpoint, it's a serious commitment at one level that she's taking so much time. Can you talk about that? I mean, because she's actually doing, I don't want to use the word sacrifice, but she could have done her career even at those times.
Look, she obviously, she's someone who's always maintained her integrity. She's always been a person who does the right thing. And when it comes to our relationship, her taking time to come and see me or me taking time to go and see her, it's an understanding. It's not something that is an effort for either of us. She understands, when she comes on tour, and so much has been said about her and so much comes out about her. You have to understand that she's someone who's achieved success at a very high level. So
that's irrespective of you, to be honest. I mean, she has independently achieved success.
She was a superstar,
exactly,
even when we met. So she was very successful in her own career. And when these things come out of protocols not being followed and rules being broken, it is not in her nature to do something like that, because she understands my profession, I understand her profession, and either of us don't interfere in it. And the value system that she has and her beliefs and the nature she has, it won't allow her to go against the rules or go against protocols. So I don't know why people have wanted to sensationalize stories by taking her name, because she's a soft target, she's known. And after a while, she'd been ignoring it for a while. We both had been ignoring it for a while.
But how long can you ignore? Because,
Look, you initially think that, yeah, maybe, you laugh it off. Actually, some of the things that come out are really funny as well. I mean, you're sitting there and thinking, how can people get to these conclusions without even wanting to understand facts and without actually checking with anyone? When the lies are spoken so much all around, they start becoming truth. So you need to speak up at some stage, and that's exactly what happened recently. So I think it probably wouldn't stop even now, but it's important for you to put out there or explain to people what the truth is. And people actually in this day and age don't bother finding out the truth when someone's a soft target like her, because when you take her name, you want to sensationalize a story, and we don't get hurt by it, but you obviously need to explain to people what the truth is.
People write a lot of rubbish on social media and trolls. Can't be that you don't feel hurt. I mean, it can't be that you are immune to what is being said. I mean, how do you deal with such trolls? Or do you have to sort of cocoon yourself and be protective of your own space?
When we look at an issue happening, like I just mentioned, that you ignore it for a long time, but we are in positions where we get asked these things.
Yes.
So when something is said just as a joke, mazak ke liye bol diya, those things don't become serious. Those things don't become questions for people to ask you. There were things spoken of she getting special ticket preferences and Honestly, we have bought tickets.
I know that.
We have bought tickets. She has organized her own travel, so that she doesn't, break any kind of protocol. It's as I said, it's not in her to even think of doing something like that, because she respects my profession, I respect hers. And as I said, there is no interference. There was one thing that said, she's coming to team meetings. I mean, that was the most baffling thing. When we heard that, we actually laughed so hard that, even if it's not allowed, the way she is, the kind of person she is, she would not in her wildest dreams think of, wanting to say something like that.
To say that selectors were bringing cups of tea, etc., was, frankly, from a former cricketer of repute. Have you seen it? The answer is no. Do you want to just get a headline? Maybe the answer is yes. The selectors, on record, weren't even staying in the same hotel as the Indian cricket team in England. I was covering the World Cup, and I don't think even Anushka met MSK Prasad and the lot and knows the 5 people. I don't know, but such things are such nonsense that.
Yeah, I mean, look, she came for one World Cup game against Sri Lanka, and the family box and the selectors box was different.
Yeah.
And there was no selector in that box. She came for one World Cup game with 2 friends of hers, and there was no selector in that.
Yeah, because you all went to that restaurant in Leeds, Thadavaru, every day. Where
Yes. So that was the game she came to, and that is the only game she came to. So yeah, look, as I said, she's known, she's been successful at a very high level, and she's achieved that success. So when people take her name, it gets noticed. So you want to mention something about the selectors? Mention something about them, but why join her name?
Don't you feel responsible? I mean, at one level that, if you actually look at it, that as the husband, as perhaps the captain of the Indian cricket team, maybe in your profession the pressure is more, or at least from the common man the pressure is more. Don't you feel responsible that because of this, she's having to sort of face what she is?
Actually, honestly, in my profession, the pressure is not that much. Trust me, the pressure is only of playing. In press conferences, where am I asked personal questions? You see any of her media interactions, or people ask you questions straight away. There is no line drawn there of not asking you personal questions. So it's much more difficult for her to answer things which haven't happened. I mean, what are you going to say when the lies are believed already? So those are the things that are difficult to process. That's why you need to speak up and let people know this is what is happening. And obviously, she literally has nothing to do with, the cricket system, or she just comes to spend time with me.
Correct.
And she prays, her intent is always towards India should win. In test matches, she's the only person you would see in the family box watching the bowling innings. From first ball till the evening, she's the only one sitting there watching bowling as well, not only batting. So that's how committed she is to watching test cricket. She loves it. She loves watching test cricket the most.
Is she nervous when you bat?
Not anymore. She used to be, but she told me she realized that, being nervous sends those energies to you as well. So she's always very positive. Even if I don't do well, she's there. She's watching the whole innings, wanting India to do well. And these things are very hard to explain to people. You will not take a banner and say, I'm here to support India and not, only to watch Virat play. But that's who she is. She has a lot of pride in, seeing our team do well, and, seeing the Indian cricket team do well. And
if I can now ask you a personal question, what did you find when you got together? What was the thing that got you and Anushka together, and what attracted Virat Kohli to Anushka Sharma?
Look, when firstly, the most comforting thing was knowing that we come from very similar backgrounds, and we laughed on things that only both of us understood, because those are the kind of things that when you come from a middle class background, these are the kind of scenarios you've seen growing up. Invariably, those jokes you will find similar. There was a lot of comfort factor immediately, and the thing that was fascinating for me the most was how relaxed and how chilled out she was for who she already was at that stage, and how welcoming and comforting she was, and how approachable she was. So these are things that immediately we just became really friendly. We started cracking jokes. I mean, I was the one probably fooling around all the time, and some of the jokes were really silly as well, but that's how I am. I love having a good time and having a laugh, and she would really find a lot of things funny as well, so we got talking from there on. And yeah, I'm really glad that shampoo commercial happened.
We have to move on to your cricket. Firstly, to your fitness. From where you come from. Tell me, how is it possible 4 years no cheat day? So you mean to say for birthdays you will not have a cake? For whatever, I mean, you get a magnificent 250, you will still not do a cheat. How is then you're not human. Let me put this on record. He was in the elevator with me at the end of the India-England game at Edgbaston, and he was carrying 24 bottles of water, small bottles in his hand, and I was dead tired. He looked at me and he said, "Aapko tired, aap dikh rahe ho, aap so jao." And I was looking at him and he said, "I can still play a game." Explain this to me.
Well, I was a very energetic kid, pehle se hi. So I had the ability to, I guess, if I enjoyed doing something, I could keep going on. I would be really energetic and keep playing all day and so on and so forth. So I had that in me. I had that natural energy in me, but I probably didn't have the drive or the vision, the focus to channelize that energy well. Obviously, when your habits are not great, when you're young, you're not that disciplined. You're partying. You're not taking care of your rest. You have a few drinks as well. Your system's not responding the way it should be for a sportsman. And I think it has to be a thing that comes from within. It can't be taught to you. It can't be explained from the outside. So, luckily that thing came to me itself, that you need to get your act right if you want to be a successful international cricketer. Because if you continue like this, you're just going to be one player who played for a few years and then disappeared because he wasn't disciplined enough or didn't maximize his potential. So I thought, okay, I love batting. I'm working hard at cricket, but how can I improve? How can I get better? What can I add to my game? And then the whole fitness thing struck me and it came to me, and actually I'm grateful for the fact that the game also moved simultaneously. We had a kind of a template that was followed around the world, and then the game rapidly from 2012 onwards is what I experienced, moved in the fitness and the whole culture around fitness in that direction. It moved very fast, and I saw other countries advancing to a level which I felt like we're being left far behind. And that's why you saw when a young team came in 2013 Champions Trophy, we competed and we won, because that was the demand. But how do you make that young team sustain the excellence for a long period of time? So I started working on myself in 2012, midway after the IPL. About 2013 is the time that I became too lean. 2014 I continued like that. Then 2015 onwards, Mr. Shankar Basu, who was the Indian team trainer and worked in RCB as well, he introduced me to Olympic lifting and speed, strength and power endurance and these kind of things, and I had never experienced that before. And because I trusted him, he had worked with me for 8 years, he said, "Trust me, just give this a go and you will see wonders happening with your body." I said, okay, I trusted him. I did this for 3 weeks, and my body just responded in a way that I never felt like myself ever again, like the slower self. I felt like someone had just put high octane fuel in my body and I was just flying. And from then on it became an obsession. I was like, I'm feeling quicker, I can react better on the ball, I am reacting better while catching, I am able to field longer periods for the whole day. So I am able to contribute for my team 5 times more than I was before. So why should I stop it? And if I'm leading and if I want my teammates to put in effort, I should be there all day doing that first, before asking someone else to do it. So everything came together so wonderfully for me, my own thinking, my mindset, the fitness change, the boost through Mr. Basu, our trainer. The whole thing came along so well together, and I think 2016 is when I really hit my fitness peak. And from then on, I've just maintained for the last 3-4 years.
What's diet like for you at the moment?
Look, for the last year and a half, I've been vegetarian. Before that, I was consuming meat. which was working well for me. In a phase, it worked really well for me. I think from 2016 Jan to about the end of the IPL, before we started playing Test cricket, we only had 5-6 months of T20 cricket. So I was just doing lifting, and I was eating a lot of red meat and consuming a lot of meat. So I became a very explosive athlete, and I was able to play the power game really well. But then Test matches came along. I had to put on a bit more fat, consume more carbohydrates. So I think having Basu sir around was the biggest help for me. Like, he would understand my body precisely the way I do, and he would tell me what to eat when, how to train and how not to train, and when to take rest, what to do while resting, how to recover. And I just followed everything to the T. I would just listen to him, and then I started understanding it myself. So he would tell me, you know what you need to do, and I would come back fresh when I took a break as well, because I understood it myself. I wanted to learn. It was similar to batting. When you go out there and play, you get 100. It's not by chance. You need to understand from ball 1 to 90 or 100, how many ever balls you play, or Test matches you play a lot more. What were you doing for all those deliveries so you can repeat it? That's consistency for me. So I understood that about training as well. If I'm doing something, I need to remember what's happening in my body when I do this. When I'm resting, how is my body responding? When I'm eating this, how is my body responding? What supplements I need to take? So everything became a learning process for me, and I kept learning and learning and learning, and now I have a total understanding of my physique.
So there is no conception of a cheat day, because there's no temptation, because you are now in that obsessed zone of trying to hit a patch, maybe moksha in terms of fitness.
Look, I will admit that I've not had a cheat day in the last 4 years. A cheat day, I've not had one. Even on holiday, I don't eat badly. I want to maintain, because I understand that on holiday I'm not able to work that much on my body. So I cannot put extra, because I'm not getting younger. I'm 31 now, and I need to be even more precise with my fitness because I want to maintain the standard that I'm playing at now till the time I finish. I don't want to be standing in the field and not being able to move the way I do right now. It's just not in me to play like that. If I can't do that, I will stop. So that is my vision. I want to be able to contribute till the last day I play for India, the way I'm doing now, with the same energy, the same enthusiasm. So I will do anything and everything in my ability to achieve that on a daily basis. On tour, during games, I reward myself if I've gotten big runs. I reward myself if I've
What's the reward?
Reward is, so against, I would give you an example. When I got 235 against England in Mumbai, which was hot and humid. So day 1, evening, I did not touch anything. I focused on my regular diet, and I was already batting on, I think, 100 plus on overnight. And then next day when I finished on 235, I was gone. I was cooked, because during the game I don't like to eat heavy. So I was focusing on bananas and water and a little bit of dal chawal and so on. So Basu sir told me, tonight, you can afford to eat anything you like. But even then I ordered, and I was eating meat that time. I ordered a chicken burger. I took off the top bun. I couldn't stop myself. I said, okay, 1 piece of bread is okay, not 2. But then I had a big plate of fries, and then I had a chocolate shake along with that. So because I knew my body needs it. So if my body needed carbs, okay, go ahead and smash a meal, not a cheat day. I can do it for 30 minutes, and then in another hour I'm back to the gym. So I can't do 3 cheat meals, back to back, because that means I'm going back in my progress.
Virat, World Cup. I mean, there was such a huge build-up, and you were in such good space. India had played extraordinary cricket, one bad day, 30 minutes of bad, whatever. How do you deal with failure? Because, the whole country goes bonkers, and you're trolled, and you're said a lot of things, and it hurts. We were all there. We were all feeling pain. I mean, no one can feel the pain more than you as captain of the Indian cricket team. How do you deal with failure?
It's not easy. I mean, if you ask me, do I get affected by failure? Yes, I do. Everyone does. I'm human at the end of the day. So it's difficult to process failure at such a big stage. But also you have to understand that, I totally believe in the fact that what's meant to be for you will happen. We were working as hard as we could. So was New Zealand. I mean, it's not like they were just having a stroll in the park and they won. They reached the finals because they were meant to. They were destined to. And so was England. Maybe England was even destined. You saw how the final went. You can never predict a match like that. Correct. So how can you say that that wasn't meant to happen? It was a back of the bat boundary, and Ben himself is feeling sorry about it. It was God sent. I mean, you can't sit down and have any logic or any explanation to that. So it is, because we play a sport where we feel like we are involved every ball and you are responsible to make something happen. So even failure and success, you start looking like we failed because of me, or I made success happen. So I think somewhere or the other we need to understand that all we can do is work hard and put in our best effort. As long as your intent is right, your heart is in the right place, and you're going along the right path and you're doing things with the right intent, that's all you can do. Because no one, as you said, no one wants to go out there and fail or not succeed or have moments like this. No one wants to do that. No one wants to experience that. But success and failure is a part of everything that we do in life, whether it's sport, whether it's in daily life, whether you lose someone close to you, whether it's a problem in your job, anything. It is the truth of life, and you need to be able to accept both with grace. That's the thing that I've learned. You can't go gung-ho when you succeed. You can't say, oh, I'm the king of the world, or we are invincible now. And when you fail, you can't beat yourself down so much that you can't get up again. So I think you need to feel the hurt. You need to feel, where could I have done things differently? I think failure is a great way or a great opportunity to analyze what went wrong and to improve on those mistakes, because at the end of the day, cricket is all about that. When you make a mistake while batting, you want to improve it the next time you walk out to play. Or if you play a false shot and you haven't gotten out, you want to improve it the next ball. And similarly for bowlers and fielders, you make a mistake, you feel really bad about it, but then you catch one and then you feel like, okay, I've corrected my mistake. And I think life is all about that. It's about making mistakes on a regular basis, but having the courage and the acceptance and the clarity to say, okay, I have made a mistake. I'm not going to be egoistic about it. I'm going to lay it down, understand what happened, improve on it, and walk forward. Because as you said, people say things, people attack you. If you start focusing on that, you cannot progress, because those are opinions. Those are, things that are happening on the outside. You know what opinion you hold, you know the intent you played with, and you need to be true to that. So the biggest challenge I felt was being true to your own beliefs.
Yeah, having said that, I mean, if you actually go back to that game and see your dismissal against New Zealand, it's an umpire's call. I mean, to digest that it was actually maybe 99 times out of 100 the umpire could not have given you out because it was hitting the top of that stump. It's tough. I mean, let's face it. I mean, so to say that, I will, philosophically you can look at it the way you are telling me 3 months down the line, but that instant, the whole world crumples. I mean, Virat Kohli leading India to a World Cup, Virat Kohli leading India to a semi-final loss are two very different things. I need to understand that hurt, because you are human. Don't give me this I am machine thing. You are not. So tell me what happened to you or how you dealt with it.
Honestly, when we went to the World Cup, and I kept getting this very strong feeling in my heart that I know that the team would need me in some game, and it would be a chase. And I swear I had this feeling so strong in my heart, and I thought I'm gonna come not out at the end of the game and make India go through that tough phase. And I really felt it strongly in my heart that that was the game. When I walked out to bat, I knew that this is the game. But then again, maybe that was my ego, talking from some space, because how can you predict something like that? You can only have a strong feeling, or maybe it was a strong desire to do something like that. But it didn't turn out that way, and my dismissal obviously was hurtful for me. And especially when the next day, if you look at 2 dismissals of Aaron and Steve, which was similar calls, similar distance of hitting the bails and so on, both umpire calls. But in hindsight, then again, you have to give benefit to the umpire as well. I got hit while leaning forward. Those guys got hit while playing on the back foot. So maybe I could have misjudged the length and would have been saved. So these are things that you look at in hindsight, but you understand that everyone was trying to do the best that they could. Not that the umpire wanted to make a call that could be crucial. He felt like that was umpire's call, and to be fair to him, it did clip the bails. It wasn't like it was missing or something like that. So look, sport is such that it takes your emotions to all kinds of places, but you need to have the strength to bring them together and just have as balanced a platform as possible to keep moving in the right direction.
Virat, the team that you have now, I mean, since that World Cup, the way Indian cricket team has played, whether it is in the West Indies, whether it is against Bangladesh, whether it is against South Africa, is this the best mind space in terms of test cricket, white ball cricket, whatever cricket we are playing? Is winning an ICC tournament an obsession? Do you think that is a yardstick we should apply? 1980s West Indies did not win an ICC tournament. They were the best team. Brazil did not win a football World Cup. They were the best team. That Zico, Socrates, that team of 1982. Is winning an ICC tournament for you as captain of India the benchmark to judge yourself? And when you look back, you've now played international cricket for more than a decade. How do you rate this team?
Well, I think the team has unbelievable potential. To be honest, I've been a part of the change room when all our legends were there. That was a different level altogether of cricket. If you saw the players all around the world at that time, I mean, you're talking about the best of the best competing against each other. So to watch that quality of cricket was amazing, purely from the skill point of view, and you know how these fast bowlers and these amazing bowlers around the world, and even our bowlers and our batting greats would come up against each other. And it was fascinating for me to watch these big names in world cricket going against each other. Now what has been added is the intensity of the games, intensity of how fit the teams have become, how the game is, as I said, moving in a different direction. And what pleases me the most is that we've been able to live up to that transition, and very well, to be honest. I mean, we are probably if you look at the team across formats, I would say we are in the top 2 teams in the world. And we're very proud of that, because we started off with a young bunch and transition's never easy. But I think the guys have slowly understood the importance of belief and understanding a role in taking Indian cricket forward. So the insecurity about their own game has vanished. If you see, we enjoy each other's success, we enjoy each other's company, and everyone's just wanting to help in some way or the other for the betterment of Indian cricket team, and in return the betterment of Indian cricket as a whole. So I would say you could look at winning an ICC tournament like an obsession, or like a wish that people have, which is a beautiful thing to wish for, because it is seen at a global level and every cricketer would want to win that. But if you ask me honestly, I mean, I didn't ever think that I would be part of the winning World Cup team in my first World Cup.
True.
Or 2 years down the line we'll win Champions Trophy as well. So I never thought of these things, but it happened. So it was meant to happen for us. But I think in hindsight you can look at a lot of things. We obviously have the desire to win big tournaments, big series, and we want to give our best effort possible. But if you focus on things which are only based on success and numbers and results, I don't think you can enjoy the process. And we as a team, we play so well because we enjoy the process. We enjoy being in difficult situations and coming out on top. Basically what we are doing on a daily basis is competing with ourselves. How good can we be when we are put under pressure? It's not about coming up against someone or trying to prove someone else wrong. It's about bringing our own standard of cricket higher and higher on a daily basis and setting examples, the right examples for the next generation to take over whenever that happens.
To just push you a little bit, I mean, I know you've been, you again very respectfully articulated what happened in the past. But having watched Indian cricket for the last 30 odd years, like this level of bowling effort, and हम न्यूजीलैंड जा रहे हैं, उसके बाद हम ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाएंगे. जब पहले हम जाते थे हमारे पास अच्छा स्पिनर्स तो ऑलवेज था, बट अब आप ग्रीन टॉप अगर इंडिया के खिलाफ बनाओगे, देन प्लीज फिगर आउट कि आपको भी जसप्रीत बुमराह, मोहम्मद शमी, ईशांत शर्मा, उमेश यादव और भुवनेश्वर कुमार को खेलना पड़ेगा. बस खेल के दिखाओ.
Absolutely. I mean, if you talk about New Zealand or any foreign tour now, as a batting group we know, if say Hardik is not fit as an all-rounder to play overseas, even if you play with 5 bowlers and just 1 spinner plays, as a batting unit, along with a keeper and that 1 spinner, either Ash or Jaddu, whoever plays, you're batting till 7. And then Umesh, the way he's batting right now, he can probably bat at 3 as well as a pinch hitter, So you're talking about the batsman knowing that, boss, if we get 300, we are in to win this game. So imagine what that does to the batsman walking out. Boss, one partnership and the opposition knows we are in trouble in our own conditions because of the bowlers we're going to face. That for me, I can't explain to you what kind of, happiness and pleasure and satisfaction that gives me. Getting 100, 200, nothing gives me that kind of happiness what this does. Because when we walk out to play, teams know if this team gets 300 batting first, we are in trouble. And that is something that I always wished, in Test cricket, our bowling attack should be such that we travel anywhere and they feel like, boss, don't let them get more than 250 or we are gone. And that is the kind of, belief that these guys have had, that they have created this aura around them as a bowling group that I'm sure every batting group in the world is feeling like we can't afford to, make any mistakes against this bowling attack.
Now to you as a batsman. I mean, every possible batting record we keep talking about will perhaps be broken by you. From growing up to where you are, and I've spoken to Sachin about it, to Saurav about it, to every possible fellow cricketer that one can possibly talk about. Talk about Virat the batsman. I mean, how is there still scope for improvement? If there is, how do you challenge yourself? I want you to go deeper. All of us know you score tons of runs.
It's very embarrassing.
No, I'm serious. I mean, double 100 after double 100, you're still batting with the same intensity at 250 and running 3 runs. At the end of a 50-over game, you're running 3 runs, and you will still run for your partner in the same manner. I've not seen this. I've seen Sachin bat at his best in 1998 in Sharjah. I have seen Sachin score that 200 runs. But this for me is a novelty, that somebody at the end of over 50 is actually doing this.
I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I just hate losing. I basically hate losing in anything. That is how a sportsman is made up. That is the makeup of any sportsman competing at the highest level. So that's a given. No one is fine with losing or fine with failing. You accept it, you process it. That's different. But the most important thing for me in anything I do on the field is I don't want to walk out and say, maybe I could have done this. I don't want any maybes, I don't want any what ifs. When I step onto that field, it's a privilege, it's an honor for me. And when I walk out, I want to have zero energy left, because that is what I'm supposed to do. That is why I'm selected. I'm not selected because I'm privileged or I should be comforted because I've reached the highest level. No, however hard I've worked for age group cricket, this has to be a constant 10 times hard-working process on a daily basis, because I'm representing my country, and there couldn't be a bigger honor for me. So I understand the importance of where I've come from and the opportunity I have every time that I step onto the field. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. Like, I hate having the feeling of maybe I could have gone for that catch, maybe I could have pushed an extra yard for an extra run. I somehow can't process. So I'm actually always trying to avoid that feeling, and that's why I go along about my work in a crazy manner where I just have to put all my effort into every ball that I play, field, or I'm a part of.
One on Ravi Shastri. I mean, in these recent few months, the trolls have become slightly unbearable. Somebody who played in the 1980s 19 test matches against the West Indies to score 200s, for the lack of a better word, has heart. I mean, we all know that. So to see all this that goes on in social media, he's your yes man, he has nothing to say, he's there because Virat Kohli wants it. You want to put it straight?
Well, again, it's I think even with the all the things we spoke about, what was being said and spoken about Anushka as well, I think most of these things are agenda driven, and I don't know whose, why, what for, but to accept lies in that manner, it couldn't be anything else but agenda driven. Because if it was random, one guy would write it and the others would not focus on it because it's not important enough. And you would probably understand it much better, knowing how things are floated around and why they are floated around. So again, even with Ravi bhai's case, luckily he's a person that doesn't care at all. I mean, as you rightly mentioned, a guy who's faced that attack without a helmet and got runs there.
From number 10 to opening
number 10 to averaging 41 as an opener, he's not going to be bothered about someone sitting at home and trolling him. Because if you want to troll a guy who's done that, get up, go into that position, face those bowlers, do what he's done, have the clarity to do it, have the courage to do it, then have a debate with that guy. I think what he's understood it, and he is absolutely chilled out. You know, he says our only focus is how we can be the best team
Of all time.
of all time. You know, we want to leave behind a legacy that cricketers in this country want to say, we want to play like that as a team. You know, we only want to focus on how the Indian cricket team played. You know, we don't want questions asked, which happened to me as well when I was growing up. Questions asked around, "Aaj kitne run banaye?" You know, we want to change that mindset to team ka kya hua. You know, so it's not left to the individual. आपने कितने रन बनाए? अगर आपने रन बनाए, टीम हार गई, हाँ ठीक है. नहीं, ठीक नहीं है. If you want to create that sports culture, if you want to take Indian cricket to the next level, if you want to tell people play in the right manner, ask them the right questions. And I think he understands that this team has a chance of creating that. No one comes back to the change room asking, "तूने क्या किया आज?" What did you do well in that situation for the team? Even if you bowled 6 overs, giving 6 runs, and someone else picked up 3 wickets, you're as big a hero as he is. True. Because you've helped him put pressure and make those breakthroughs for the team. So that is the mindset shift that we are in the process of. And I think these petty things on the outside, to him, they don't matter at all.
My time is up, so last minute and a half. Favorite Anushka Sharma movie?
Ae Dil Hai Mushkil. Hands down. That character for me is my most favorite ever. I mean, I tell her often, even now, that I sit down and I sometimes, you know, I pick up, I open YouTube and I watch that sequence of, you know, when she has cancer, and, you know, that whole thing when Ranbir comes back, and it's just a beauty. That song is etched in my heart. It's never going to be going anywhere.
Your mother's favorite dish that you would still give an eye and a hand for to?
Rajma chawal, every time.
Every time?
Yeah.
Favorite sports person?
Favorite sports person? Cricket or anything?
Anything.
Favorite sports person? I think for me is, I would name two. From the cricket point of view, Sachin Tendulkar. He's my inspiration. He gave me that path, that vision, that light to move forward. And apart from him, I think Cristiano Ronaldo, because I like the fact that he's targeted on a daily basis, but has the mental strength, the will to work hard, and the desire to keep coming back. For me, those things matter more than someone having absolute, unreal, natural ability, which is Messi. So I'm in awe of Ronaldo.
God has given you one dream which will be fulfilled. One.
We saw just yesterday, what's that guy's name? David Letterman? He has that show. So we watched the Obama episode. And, you know, his words were, "You're probably the one and only president that I truly and truthfully respect and admire." That moment for me was the most touching moment of everything that they spoke about. That is what we want to leave behind. If children can come up to us and say, "Thank you for guiding us in the right direction of achieving excellence and taking Indian cricket higher," that is what I'm going to be proud of.
Barack Obama, when he walked out to Washington Park, that particular moment when he won that US presidential election with a landslide victory, you know what? That one line reverberated around the world. If anybody has gone to that Medici restaurant at the University of Chicago on next to Hyde Park, where Barack Obama used to go when he and his wife were part of the university, that line was everywhere. Yes, we can. Virat Kohli stands for that message to every possible sports fan, even if you're not a sports fan, that yes, you can. Maybe you're not a cricket fan, but you are a human being with a dream, with a desire, with an aspiration, with a commitment and a passion to achieve something in life. From being from where he was to where he is, where he will go, the way he conducts himself, the way he has modeled himself into being a modern day genius. He has given us that line in the Indian context. Yes, we can. I have to end with that word the show stands for. He's a real genius and most importantly, a real inspiration. Thank you, Virat Kohli. Thank you very much.